What do a millennial and a pastor from Gen X have in common? Not much, but they love the Lord and they love life. Join us as Justin and Sam look at the lighter side of Bible, church, and life with Making Light of It.
Welcome back to another episode of Making Light of It. It is episode number 9 days. I almost had it.
Last episode is D, now is A.
I was right on.
You were the confidence. I love it.
Yeah,
it's so confident that I almost just don't want to tell you you're wrong. Yeah, yeah.
So
Diez a nueve. Yes.
It's 9 diez, right? 9
Diez.
Diez?
E.
Diez E.
Which is a Y, ironically, not an E.
I'm
Phonetic.
Yeah, phonetic. So if I have to pronounce, so when I do my sermons, I like to do a lot of quotes, so quotes or stories, illustrations, and stuff like that. And a lot of times it'll come from a philosopher from the early centuries, or some Greek guy, Russian guy. So I'll always have their name, and then I'll have how it's pronounced written out in the way. So it's like whatever it is. I'll write that sound out.
Pronounce it
correctly. So in this case, if the sound is E, I'm going to write E. So it's diez e
nueve.
New web. It's always close.
You were close. You were backwards, but it's okay.
Did I start with nueve?
I think you did.
So right before we went to recording, I was thinking, and Mayor Rob caught my thinking face, or he saw the smoke coming out. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm thinking on something." And that's exactly what I was thinking of. I was like, "I'm going to jump this. I'm going to get it before he does, because now I know the system." And we're 10 episodes, into the tens. I'm like, I got this. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, ocho, nueve, and then 10 is diez. So I got so amped up, I just got.
Oh, it would be cool if you had access to your old Spanish teacher from like high school or something.
Not cool. She would hate me.
She'd have her on here.
If she didn't quit, if she hasn't quit or retired already, she'd be out. She'd be out. To be fair, no Spanish, zero Spanish classes.
Yeah.
No, so just introductory Spanish,
like your basic classes,
just like in 5th, 6th, 7th grade or something like that. When they do like that brief little, the book, which I'll never forget. Hablo inglés, or yo hablo español. No hablo español. And I always used to think to myself, this is ridiculous. Like, someone asked me in Spanish if I know Spanish, I'm going to say
no.
Huh? Not going to say no. I'm like, huh? I'm like, that's just crazy talk. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm having a fly.
I see
if it looks weird,
that thing is just like,
if it looks weird on camera, this guy attacked me. I just got a text a little bit ago. Crazy thing. So I have some friends of ours, Jeff and Nicole, come and work out of my home gym every now and then. Basically, I only have them to come over to help with the bug population because I know they're going to kill them as they come along.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they found a snake outside my gym today. So,
nice.
Newsflash, so I haven't updated my spouse. You're going to hear this about a week late. There was a giant snake outside.
Watch out for the serpent.
So what do I think? Was a snake trying to get swole, like a snake in the gym?
I would like to think so. Why
so
not?
when it comes to snakes, where do you stand?
Far away.
That was so much better than the answer I was expecting. I left it open-ended to see how you would answer it, and that was the perfect answer.
Ding, ding,
oh, my goodness. So I like snakes. I think they're cool when I'm at the zoo or anything and checking them out.
Glass.
Yeah, they look awesome. I think the cobra, it's just such a cool look. You got, one of my favorite basketball players of all time, Kobe Bryant, known as the Black Mamba.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of really cool elements to it. Don't really have a big problem with it, but years ago we brought in this critter group for youth group. The old youth leader here at the church I am that used to do really cool things for his students. So I brought them in, and they brought snakes, and they brought big snakes, right? So I didn't think I was at all afraid of snakes until a big snake is sitting right there, and they start wrapping it around your neck. You're like, I don't know how him with snakes.
Well, he has to get a little bit angry and just go a little bit tighter and take my life away from me. That's funny. There was a wrestler when I was growing up.
Jake the Snake?
Jake the Snake.
All right.
Roberts,
See, I know my stuff.
He would come out with that snake.
Big old giant snake, put it
I was
around.
terrified.
And so was every wrestler. These wrestlers.
They sold it really well.
They That's where
Well, I'm
you
sure
start
they
to
were
realize.
legit terrified.
I don't
man.
know, man. Sometimes you're like, okay, now I know this is not legit.
Yeah, imagine being that opponent that's like, I have a phobia of snakes, but your job is to fight this guy who his main prop
Is
is
a
a
snake.
snake in a bag.
Can't
you know?
wrestle for
he
nothing.
can take it out at any
but
point
he just brings out this giant snake.
Epic
As
stuff.
Christians, are we supposed to like hate snakes because the serpent and the whole like fallen nature and
You know,
Is that-
does the snake have to, be punished for what
he
Satan
was
did, though?
He was
Yeah.
cursed to the ground.
But it was, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he was cursed to dirt.
I
He
think
was-
they've already got enough cursing. We can embrace them with love still.
That's it. Okay,
You know,
so
they're past their, it's behind them.
But if a snake starts talking,
Then
we
step
out.
on it.
We
Stand
step
far
on
away
it.
from it.
Go from there. And so I have no transition into our food for thought from that. I thought I'd be able to spin it and come around, but it took a completely lopsided turn. Oh, speaking of lopsided,
There we go.
we're going to talk about trades. Did you see that fly?
Did you hear it?
It came so close.
I
right?
heard it. I heard
We'll
it
have,
go.
to, we'll have to go back. Play that. He's sitting on the mic now.
He just likes your mic. I
Okay,
don't know,
just so
something
you
about
know,
you, dude.
this just goes to show we do zero editing on this program. There's this little fly who is just perpetually just here, just annoying me.
It might be a fly
run
from your
around.
brother's
You know,
podcast.
this would be perfect.
He's gonna
outta
go
here.
back and be
Fly
like,
on the
okay,
wall.
I was the fly on the wall
Yeah,
for making light of it.
Get out of here. This guy is just annoying me.
trying to
to
make
no
friends.
end.
That's
He'll be
all.
back. He'll be back.
I did hear that. Now that you guys mentioned
Right?
it. It's a little fly right in front of there. That's some great microphones.
That was a good one, Robert.
Where were we at?
we were at lopsided.
Lopsided. We're like right. So lopsided trades. We're going to talk about lopsided trades in history.
Uneven trades.
So I'm inspired by this. It was a devotional from the beginning of the year in my Tim Tebow devotional. I forget what the name of it's called, but one of the devos had talked about the lopsided trade. So this is not an original thought on my own, but it's something I have delved into. So one of the most lopsided, when we think trades, we think sports.
Sports, yeah.
Okay, good.
Totally.
You're right with me. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
100%. A little delayed.
We just got past the baseball in 2024, the baseball trade deadline.
Yeah, nothing great happened.
My team picked up a couple good players. The Kansas City Royals did well. Actually, in history, one of the worst trades ever has to do with your favorite team, the Red Sox. Do you
course.
know the player that they traded away? Do you know the worst trade they've ever made in the history of their franchise?
It's got to be what brought the curse on them. They traded Babe Ruth to the Yankees.
That is
The
correct.
Great Bambino.
The great Bambino got traded over to the Yankees. Do you know what he got traded for?
Probably pennies and nickels, honestly, the way that the Red Sox operate.
No. So it's really not far off from there. Actually, it was just money. And money,
Terrible.
essentially, it was money that ended up financing a musical called No No Nanette.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they had for like the next 80 years of baseball was nothing.
That's how they traded away one of the greatest players. So he, previously to that, he had only hit, doing the math real quick, like 50 home runs
Okay.
with the Red Sox. Traded to Babe Ruth, where he goes on to hit 665 more home runs, including a full 50 in his first season there as Mayor Rob, what team does Babe Ruth most commonly known for playing?
Yankees.
The Yankees. Do they even trade with each other anymore? Like,
And
just
they better not
one
have,
of the worst
honestly. I
trades
don't know.
in history.
Brought upon the curse.
And then it brought on the curse, which lasted from 1920 till
2004.
2004.
Such a good year.
The great curse. There's a whole lot when you start doing research. Now, my team, my favorite basketball team of all time is the Lakers. There's a big story to that. I know it sounds like I'm a front runner. Truth be told, not really a huge fan of the team right now. Just because it's just not the way it was when I grew up with them. But one of the greatest trades they've ever done, one of the worst trades in history, has to deal with one of the greatest players in all of basketball, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I know
Who,
the
do you
name.
know what team he used to play for before the Lakers?
Those are the Sixers, right?
No.
Awkward.
Yep. You're thinking of another great center, Wilt Chamberlain.
Sure.
Yep, there you go. All right. Used to play for the Sixers, then for the Lakers.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bulls.
No.
Spurs, Sonics,
strikes, you're out.
Super Sonics.
Just start going through there. We are not a sports podcast. Part of that is because we don't know sports that well.
Yeah.
So he used to play for the Milwaukee
Bucks.
Bucks.
Okay, I was,
Hey, there
I
we
was
go.
about to go. Brewers.
Baseball. Very good. So he used to play for the Bucks. Actually won them a championship in 1971, but then they traded him away to the Lakers for a couple guys that you've never heard of: Dave Myers, Elmore Smith, Junior Bridgman, and from there, basically Kareem Abdul-Jabbar changed the history of the Lakers, turned them into this incredible franchise. It was Lakers, Celtics all throughout the 70s and 80s. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went on to, until recently, he was the leading scorer in NBA history.
Okay.
So they went from winning. Why they traded him away, who knows?
Yeah.
There's always some reasoning going on in there.
Little side note: how tall was he?
7'1", 7'2", something like that. Wow. And his famous, he had a special name for his most famous shot. Do you know what that was?
No.
The sky hook. The sky hook. He had
Was that like something that you could...
something very similar to that. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be embarrassed about Justin's basketball knowledge. But yeah, it was something very similar to that. But very rarely does it happen in sports where a trade is equal. Like when you're in school, did you ever use to trade lunches or pieces of your lunch?
It would either be pieces of the lunch or something from like school. It's like an eraser for that eraser or something like
Exchange
stuff.
erasers for erasers. I used to, I always had school lunches, and so never really, maybe on pizza day, there was like something where maybe I might be able to trade my pizza for someone else's dessert or something like that. So I never really had any of these great, fantastic things. But I've heard some great stories about, trying to make wheeling and dealing. I used to collect baseball cards and then later basketball cards, and I have two brothers, and we used to trade cards, but we all had... I mean, for the most part, like our own favorite players and stuff like that. It wasn't about getting value; it was about trying to
get your people.
That guy's wearing my team colors.
Yeah.
I want him. So we used to do those kind of trades and stuff like that. But what we're going to talk about now is not some of the worst trades in sports, but one of the worst trades in all of history. And I want you to read. I gave you a few verses.
Yeah.
The first one hopefully kind of gives it all away. This is the worst trade in history. Romans 5, 6 through 8.
Yes, Romans 5, 6 through 8. And it says, "And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured into our hearts through the Holy Spirit, who has been given to us. For while we were still weak, at the right time Christ died for the ungodly. For one will scarcely die for a righteous person, though perhaps for a good person one would dare even to die. But God shows his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us."
Yeah, while we were still sinners.
He didn't wait till we were good.
No,
he didn't wait till we kind of had it figured out. While we were still sinners,
Yeah.
he died for us.
So that's the worst trade,
Terrible trade.
logically,
He's getting nothing out of
in
it
history.
from us.
Is you have a perfect person, the perfect God,
Yeah,
paying a penalty for
imperfect
for
people,
far
for
imperfect
more
people.
than you can imagine. Yeah,
And it makes absolutely no sense. I like how the scriptures lay it out. It says, look, maybe someone would give themselves up. Maybe for a
Maybe.
good person. Maybe. Like they might do that.
yeah,
Now, we're both fathers for our children, without
Anything.
a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. No hesitation, no thought. We would give up our lives, we give up our comfort on a daily basis.
just not my last chicken nugget.
Just not my nuggies. I lay down my life for you, girl, but that dinosaur nugget's mine.
That's mine. That's my T-Rex.
Well, you a couple weeks ago you were cooking. What were we making a whole lot of?
Pastelillo.
Pastelillos. You'll make the pastelillo. You'll lay down a pastelillo for them.
That's for sure.
So Christ died for us that still while we were yet sinners. And this plays so much into like people's thought. Like if you haven't grown up around the church, have no thoughts about the church, there's such a connotation of, I've heard this phrase before, well, when I get, and I'm generalizing, when I get right, I'll get God.
Yeah.
And like, no, bro, it doesn't.
It used to be my mindset as a kid, honestly.
Yeah.
It was me telling myself, when I get older, I'll be able to understand better. I'll be a better Christian. I'll be able to follow God. you get older, it doesn't get easier.
No.
No. So I always
it
use that excuse
doesn't.
as, yeah, I'll do it later in life. I have plenty of time. Yeah. No, you wish I did it then. I'd be a little bit better at it. Then.
Yeah, that's a thousand. I hear you on that one, 1,000%. But Christ died for us while we were yet sinners, and that's the beauty of this whole thing is there wasn't a checklist before he went to the cross.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is 2 Corinthians 5:21.
2 Corinthians 5:21. All right. Verse 5 right here, and 21's right here.
There you go.
For our sake, he made him to be sin who knew no sin, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God.
So we become like, because on his behalf, he traded up his perfection so that we could become righteousness. So that when God looks at us, he doesn't see the sin. He doesn't see, the serpent. He doesn't see that. He sees the righteousness of his son.
Yeah.
And and this is the other thing. Like we talk about trades and stuff like that, and there's always a winner loser. A lot of times, recently, like all trades involve some kind of financial, they have to line up the dollars for the teams. There's caps in most of these
They're
sports.
not as good as they could be. You get money too.
Yeah, so it's all that kind of stuff there. But like this exchange, Christ for us, free, freely given.
Yeah.
There's no payment on our part. There's nothing that we can do to compensate what Christ did for us. There's nothing at all. So we're getting everything for nothing.
Yeah.
Ephesians 5:2.
Ephesians 5:2. Here's 2. And walk in love as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us, a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God.
I love that word, fragrant offering. Some versions will call it an incense. And you get
Incense,
into, I think Psalms a lot calls it like be like an incense to you. And I love the concept of
Pleasing
because
aroma.
when you we talk, we know you love yourself some candles.
Come on, dude. I just got a Yankee Candle last night.
Was it Sweet Pea?
It was Kitchen Spice. Kitchen Spice.
What?
Okay, so listen,
Yeah, break it down.
I have Apple Spice going on in my like Glade Sense in the wall, the plugins.
Okay.
So I have those going. So I didn't want to go off of that, right, with a different scent.
So you're talking
Kitchen
about
Spice was the closest because they didn't have the apple spice in the Yankee Candle.
Now,
If you don't know, Yankee Candle has a great scent to it, and it's strong, it sticks. So I got that. I'm not made of money.
I don't understand kitchen spice. What is that supposed to be?
It's got that spice that the apple spice has. It has the spice with it, so it mixes very well. It
Now-
doesn't take away from the apple spice.
Mayor Rob, help me out here.
I gotta ask you: do you burn candles as much in the summertime as you do in like the seasons, like the fall, winter?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's not the
Yeah,
fly
they're-
back.
the second I get home tonight,
How many are you burning?
all right. So I have one in the living room, one in the dining room, one in my room.
Oh
At least 3 at once.
my goodness. So here's what I can guarantee. When you walk into Justin's home, there's a sweet fragrance.
As long as I've been there first. Usually it does linger, obviously, but when you cook and stuff, it kind of takes away the smell.
Pastelillos.
Especially when you're greasy food. It's
Right.
But yeah, you'll get smacked with apple spice right now.
All right.
Come in the winter time, it might be like more of a pumpkin-y or like the fall time pumpkin-y.
Well,
Winter time,
Avi.
I'm definitely doing like I love to do the tree scent.
Yep, I'm all, listen,
Evergreen
I
trees and stuff.
enjoy that
Give me
smell.
that
We
scent.
get a live Christmas tree in
Yeah,
my house,
that's the
and that's
best
part of
part
the
of it.
reason is
Yep.
having that. Even though it takes forever, so I have like a 2-story living room, so to speak.
Yeah.
So my trees are always 12 to 14 foot tall. I saw the fly hit your face. So I'm
Yeah,
glad
he's
he got
coming
off
near me, and
he's
he's
around here.
gonna get smacked. I've killed a lot of flies in my life, so he doesn't know who he's messing with.
like, he doesn't
You're messing
know.
with the spelling bee champ over here, okay?
All right, let's get back on track. So
Yeah.
we're talking about sweet fragrance. We're talking about trade. One final scripture I have for you. This is not the end all be all. It's just the one.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most well known passages in all of the scriptures. Comes from the book of
John
chapter
3,
verse number.
16.
Go ahead.
And it reads, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life."
And that's it. That's the exchange. We get eternal life because the eternal
Yeah.
gave his life.
And talking in the trade talk, right? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, they traded him out, and he went and made the Lakers a whole new team. And
Yep.
Christ did the same thing. He God traded him, and
Yeah.
he died for us. And us undeservingly, we this uneven trade here, we get like the most epic gift we could imagine.
Yeah, we definitely-
multiple gifts if you want to really dive into that.
Yeah, we come out. We literally get a whole new lease on life. Like, so I mean, some players get traded from a bad team to a good team, and it's a whole new concept. It's a whole new like their careers get energized, the accolades get energized, and that's where we're at. We're in a whole new life. We get to become a new creation. That fly, I'm telling you, y'all, this
face.
fly has made his way. Okay, mark that down.
That's a real.
That's a real. To go off of last week's podcast, I just watched my podcast partner smack himself in the face in an effort to kill a fly.
See if he comes back. Though.
You did.
Yeah. Where you at, boy?
I am secretly praying behind the scenes that the fly does come back and lands straight on your nose again.
Hey, listen, I will not be scared to smack myself.
I have
in
no
order to
idea
kill.
how good this is podcast wise, but personally, that was one of the funniest things I've seen. In
When I worked at the
long time.
factory, I had my own fly swatter. Dude, I was a fly
We're
swatting
gonna-
champ.
That one's.
Slow mo.
It's like I saw you're like setting him up. You're like at the cross-eyed look, staring at him.
Looking
at-
for,
you're
second he got on my
"Just
nose.
Look at me in my eyes,
This
pal.
is
Just
my moment.
Now, what's funny is I was watching you through this process. I'll kind of give you a little play-by-play about what was going on. So the fly was buzzing around, kind of made a pass over his face, and then landed on the mic. And I literally saw in Justin's head, he was thinking to himself, I can't hit the fly on the mic because that's going to make a really bad sound. Tell me I'm wrong.
100%.
I know exactly what
You're
you
right.
did. You said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to hit the fly. And then without any like hesitation, the fly moved straight to your nose, and it was like you just got released. Like now I can hit him.
Now's my
And it was
opportunity.
a full swing right onto the nose.
holding that dog
and
back.
it was after he hit himself in the nose, he realized I just hit myself in the nose. Like, it was,
Didn't even think about it
you
until
were
after.
more concerned about the audio quality of the podcast than you were your own face. You
Talk about a
laid
trade.
down your face for the sake of the podcast. Well, see, tell me I can't segue. Tell me I can't segue. That was beautiful.
Woo!
Oh my goodness.
How many
So-
flies you swatting today?
Oh man, there's a lot of do you know some of the crazy facts about flies? Do you know any of those things?
I know. Do you want me to share one?
yeah, if you got one.
So the common thought, right, is that when they land on your food, they're pooping on it. But really, they're spitting on it to make it break down so that they can suck it back up.
Okay, so commonly, I never thought they were pooping on my food. I didn't know that they were regurgitating.
I have heard that though.
Yeah.
Every 2 seconds.
Mary
Yeah,
Rob,
they're
you
like
heard-
spitting their own acidic stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
And spitting, and then they are able to eat it because they obviously have no teeth and stuff like that. So.
They're not like chewing it down.
Yeah, they're not chewing a burger down. Either.
Do you know how long a fly typically lives?
No, I can't say I do.
So most house flies.
This one not that long.
I don't know. He
He's
seems
about
to be
die.
doing all right.
He's still around
so
here
far.
somewhere, but
So houseflies, they live about 48 at most 24 to 48 hours.
Really?
is how long they live.
like
Yeah.
that's their lifespan.
That's their lifespan. That's it. And the story.
wild.
Beginning.
I've definitely seen the same fly in my apartment for like the past 4 days.
So there are the housefly can live for probably up around 30 days. So I guess I
Okay,
was a
so
little
that
bit
makes
off.
more sense.
There is a
Okay.
breed that only lasts for maybe it's the I forget. I have to go back and
There's
look
a
at it.
lot of them then.
So in a matter of 30 days, they can lay up to 500 eggs.
And that's why there's so many of them.
They multiply fast. They have
Multiply like flies.
the ability to see all around them. They have 360 vision, so you can't sneak up
They're
on
cool.
them. I don't think we're not saying they're cool. They walk. They carry numerous diseases with them
They're
because
cool.
they're cool. Cool. And apparently, they defecate all the time.
Well, same.
But not on the food. They taste the food like ditto. I
Sam's
missed
like,
that.
I'm
I
trying
missed
to ignore that comment.
I totally missed that. I wanted to miss that. I wanted to miss it like he missed a fly and hit himself in the face. That's how badly I wanted to miss that, but I heard it. I heard that.
2 for 2.
Just in case you wanted to know.
Hot in here.
It's not.
Wow. I'm feeling it. I'm sweating, man.
Hence, now we just have one fly floating around us. All right, let's get off this topic. All right, greatest trade in history.
Jesus, thank you for this trade.
Thank you, Jesus.
I'm not happy with the 2020 trade of Mookie Betts, but I'm happy with the trade.
Oh
that you've
yeah,
given
he's
us,
crushing
Lord.
it out
Dude,
there in.
we should have kept him. We literally
Dodgers.
traded him for pennies and nickels, and the people we traded him for, we don't even have anymore.
It's crazy how things go down. The 76ers just acquired, not a trade, but they just acquired Paul George in free agency just to add some of that stuff. So that's going to be a great thing for them. But if you go back to the team he originally played for, the Clippers traded for him. He was on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the amount of players that they traded and draft picks and what those players turned into, they are like, it was an incredible haul.
Yeah.
All of them turned out to be incredible. And now the Clippers, they don't even have Paul George to show for that trade.
That's terrible.
Sports.
Yeah.
Hey,
Doesn't
we'll
have
talk
to make
sports
sense.
a little bit. So we are, speaking of sports and competitions, let's segue into our, is it our favorite? Our Sunday school trivia.
Definitely,
School
I'll definitely take a
trivia.
spelling bee over.
So we do need to take a quick pause on our recording program so we can set up our buttons, and we're going to be right back with our Sunday school trivia. But you won't even know.
Yeah, because
you won't even know because it's just going to happen. Just like
back.
we're back.
Back.
We are back. Unfortunately, we get too far ahead of ourselves and we forget there's some setup involved in some of these
Yeah,
things.
we just like to go. Just go right into it.
So we took a brief couple minutes to pull out our little buzzers here we got in front of us. Yeah. And the fly, speaking of being
Fly
back,
has
the fly
returned.
is back. He was right next to me. You feeling it? No, he's gone. All right. Listen, if that fly distracts you, here's the deal. Our hands are on the table right next to the buzzer. First one to hit the buzzer, if you answer correctly, you get a point. If you don't, the other person gets a chance to steal that point.
just want to let you know if the fly lands on my buzzer, I'm smacking it regardless. Just letting you know.
And you just have to answer. All right. Mayor Rob is going to read off the questions, and let's start with some Sunday school trivia.
All right, first question off we have, who went with Paul on his early mission trips?
That would be Barnabas.
Sam, and that is correct.
That is correct.
Good job, Sam.
Some people say Barnabas.
Barnabas.
You gotta
Barnabas.
make it fun.
Barnabas. Yeah, it was great.
I know.
Fly's gonna-
I know someone who pronounces Sodom as Saddam.
Saddam. Oh, that's so weird.
Saddam and Gomorrah.
It's a
I'm like,
reading-
no, it's,
no,
it's Sodom.
Yeah, you can't get away with that.
All right.
All right, next question.
Next one up. What is the eighth commandment?
No,
Justin?
Thou shalt not bear false witness.
That is not correct.
I'm gonna say covet. Thou shalt not covet.
That is not true.
Not true. It's not true,
Which
Sam.
one? What is it?
Steal?
Thou
Steal.
shalt not steal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want something, you're
You
gonna
know,
steal it.
yeah. You
What-
might have to
so-
bear false witness if you're gonna steal it.
So false witness is 7. I know honor your parents is 5.
Hey, I'm not giving you all the answers.
You're going to continue? Well, you're going to change
Yeah, I'm
the
changing
line
it
of thought.
up. We'll go back
Just
to
so-
that
do we
sometime.
have the order there?
We do.
Okay, so honor your mother and father is 5.
False witness, I'll just say is 9.
False witness. Okay,
so
so
wow,
we knew it
one
was
extra.
down at the end. Covet would be then 10, right? Okay, yeah. So I was there.
we were close.
I was working my way backwards.
Yeah, I
because
was
I'm
working my
going
way
down.
from top
Yeah, I
to
was
bottom.
going backwards. All
Walk
right,
in fast.
no points there for anybody. Let's go. Next question.
Right. True or false? God sent an earthquake to rescue Paul and Silas from prison in Philippi.
Oh, it got specific.
Yeah, it did get specific.
It
there
got
at the end.
specific. I'm saying true.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But they didn't escape.
Right. They stayed
because
there.
They stayed in jail and shared the good
They
story.
say
Yep,
what
they
the guard
stood
is getting
still.
ready to
That's right.
kill himself, and said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa!"
You don't need to do all that.
They explained the gospel. The guy was so enamored with the fact that these guys wouldn't leave, and then and this is where we get the statement: he and his household.
He and
believed.
his household. Yes, that's a good
They
distinguish.
didn't have to escape because the guy's going to take them. He took them on. Let's go.
Right. Next one up, we got true or false? John the Baptist wore clothes made of goat hair. Justin?
False.
Oh, you go with your initial answer.
Do you know what hair? Do you know what hair it was?
Camel.
Camel. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the finest
It
and
was
camel.
wasn't it goat skins too? Like, wasn't it skins? There were skins that he used.
They said
Trying to remember exactly
they said
what they
he's known for camel and honey,
and honey.
locust and honey.
What am I thinking?
Those are the three associations that use
Yeah.
it. And crazy. Like I
They was-
always picture
yeah.
him as being
Oh no, the
Bat
flies on
crazy.
me.
like crazy. The fly
got the
has
fly.
found his way to production.
Stay over there.
I always think of him as being like this like crazy wild like guy. I don't know if he was.
You guys ever try locusts
Right.
with honey in it?
in a righteous way.
Let me tell you about Jesus.
He's like
He's coming.
that's why he had to be in the water. I wonder
would-
how good that camel skin
I
was
would
in the water.
love to have an interaction with John.
You know I would.
100%. Just one at least.
Yeah.
I don't know if after one I'd want another, but
He would call
depends
you
how
out.
crazy
He
he is.
would call you
Not
out.
crazy. Depends how on fire he
Yeah.
is. That's a
Yeah,
better way to put it.
passionate. He was
Yeah.
passionate. I would say passionate.
All
right,
we got
going
another
through.
one coming up here.
Here we go.
How many of Jesus' sisters are named in the Bible? Sam.
0.
That is correct.
But we know he had them because there was reference to
That
his
is true.
brothers and sisters. We don't know exactly who, how many. We don't know all that stuff.
Irrelevant.
Was that? What'd you say?
You didn't?
Oh, he said something.
He said something. Yep.
What'd you say?
Irrelevant.
Moving on.
Yeah, if you're gonna trash talk, own it. Own it.
See this
Irrelevant.
table being
I
flipped.
didn't want to have to make more editing.
Shoe fly, don't bother me.
Yeah, I was talking to the fly.
All right, let's go, Mayor Rob.
All right, we got. Yeah, right. Which human author wrote Galatians?
Paul?
That is correct.
Can you say it without a question mark?
Well, I
It
know
is-
there's some that are contested. I just couldn't remember off
It,
the top
it
of my head
is
which ones are.
so difficult to
Isn't
like,
Hebrews the one that's pretty
Hebrews
contested, right?
is they're like we don't know, could be Luke, could
Even
be
there's
Paul, could
there's
be,
a couple even
unknown
further
author.
back, like probably I think after the Corinthians, where I read in the front very beginning of it before I get into it. It says, it says the author is the most believe that this is the author based off of this and that. There's
the
a
general
lot to
rule
it.
of thumb is in the New Testament if it's not John, the Gospels, if there's not a little John or the Gospels, you're pretty safe with Paul. He wrote
and they go
most of
based.
them.
A lot of it is based off of like the way that they structured it and the way that the greeting was or how they ended it.
There's enough information in early church history. That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
we'll probably spend some time talking about like the canonization of the Bible. I think
Yeah.
it's a
It's a
pretty
good topic.
fascinating thing to get into. But there's so much evidence, so much historical documents and stuff handed down from the 40s, 50s, 60s. We're talking like the first centuries.
Yeah.
That stuff handed down over time and recorded and copied over time. Like you can trace these things all the way back to
Yeah.
almost the original document. Just crazy how God protected and aligned the scriptures. We have to do the canon one of these episodes. All right, it is 3-2. I'm leading by uno.
All right. Who was the first Christian to die for his faith? Sam.
His name is Abel, and because he offered a sacrifice, a sweet sacrifice of his first fruits, not fruits.
That is incorrect.
What?
Who is the first Christian to die for his faith?
Christian?
Is it Stephen?
Oh. Yeah, I guess
It is Stephen.
Great. They weren't labeled as Christians then.
they weren't labeled as Christians with Stephen
Technically,
either.
you're right.
So I'm calling. We both got that one.
Yeah,
We
I
both got
because
that
when
one.
you said that, I'm like, I didn't think that far back.
Yeah.
I was thinking New Testament. I'm
So,
like, dang, you got me there.
technically in the New Testament, there were
We'll
followers
give
of
him
the
a
way.
half a point.
I'm giving you both. We're getting both
Both
points.
get a point. Yeah,
Both points, Justin.
They both died for their
yeah
faith.
thank you. I give it to. I give
First
it to.
OT, first new T.
Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
take it.
All
There we
right,
go.
next
Good
one
job.
up. You guys ready?
Yeah. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready to see this go down.
It's going down.
That fly's going down.
yeah, wait till we hit end record.
All right. Who was the first martyr that was stoned?
Listen,
I was saying we could have get the guy in first.
I'll let you take this
So
one.
good,
Yeah,
Steven.
yes, sir. All right. I was. You know what? I said, you know what? I'm gonna have to do back to back.
Unless you want to go and say Abel because Cain had a rock.
Technically, he was stoned too. That's so true. Wow.
that was great. It
Wow.
was Steven though. So
Oh my goodness.
Steven
Gonna see if
with
we
a
can both
P.
get another point, but
If I'm correct, right? Stephen with a P.
PH.
with a
Yep.
PH.
Yep. That's the way my dad spells his name, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty partial to that.
All right. We're going to go with this one here. True or false? Jesus asked the children to stay back while he was teaching important things to grown-ups.
No, let the children come to me.
That's right.
Great oration on faith as one of these as a child. That's how
Yeah.
great and beautiful the gospel is you are there depths and layers and theological discussions, or some people call them arguments, that you can have? Yes. But is it simple as I'm a sinner, I need a savior.
Yeah.
Jesus is my savior.
Oh, on the flip side of that, come to adding to that statement of what you just said, also coming to Christ and asking questions and being like vulnerable to like, okay, yeah, like, you know, as adults, we're just like, okay, well, we can contest that. Let's, you know,
Yeah,
it's all
yeah.
too good to be true. As a kid, you're like, yeah,
Why?
that's awesome. Or
Why?
yeah, why? Oh,
Why?
that's fascinating. And
Why?
then you learn and you learn and you learn and you learn.
Yes.
You don't just debate it, you question and you're like, okay, well, I'll take that information as a kid.
That's one of the
like,
great things I share
open
with
for
people,
it.
especially new believers or even seasoned believers that are questioning. I was like, ask God.
Yeah.
He's not afraid of your questions. No. Not afraid.
Ask God, but also pay attention to how
yeah,
He's going to
there's
answer
that
you.
too.
Because
Like-
people think, I'm just going to hear the sound of God just coming from the heavens. And
gonna
listen, if you're doing
flip
that, then
through
you
the
must be
Bible.
way more special than these people in the Bible. Okay, I
Right,
don't think
'cause
that's happening.
He only appeared to so many of
But
them.
I do believe He will reveal it through His Word, through His people, through different occurrences. It will happen. It
Yes.
will happen.
Yes.
Keep your eyes open. Sorry,
Hey,
rabbit hole.
that's great. All right, let's do two more.
Two more. All right. We're gonna give you some different ones here. I mean, of course, because they're all different.
Yeah,
Different
yeah,
than-
switch
than-
it up. Don't
than
give
the
us the
martyr
same one
one?
as the last one. Or the
How,
last
how
two.
can you rephrase that question?
Awesome.
Who did Paul? Who was
What
Paul's?
was Stephen's first name when he was martyred?
That's a very
There we
good
go.
one. All
Who
right.
died in a tree?
Who said forgive them as he was being martyred as the first
mean-
one new Christian ever?
There you go. We're gonna
New
do,
Christian.
We're gonna do this one. Though.
First Christian ever. It was the first ever Christian.
Where did Peter stay during his ministry in the city? Where did Peter stay during his ministry in the city of Joppa?
Oh, it
See, I'm
was
not even gonna.
First, I thought I was answering the question, but it's part of
Where did he stay in the city of
the
Joppa?
city of Joppa. Was it with the Captain Cornelius?
No.
Oh, yeah, to think about it. So I'm not far off from that, right? I don't think Justin has it. an answer.
I don't. We're gonna say, his great grandfather.
In the house of Simon the Tanner.
Oh, and he was called
But
over
Wasn't Cornelius? There was something about Cornelius.
because that's where he got the vision to go. That's where he got the vision to go.
Simon
All right.
the Tanner.
So that's your hesitation. Good. Yeah, I remember that now. I actually went to that city, anyways.
I
All
would
right,
love to go there. I mean,
right.
not necessarily
Bucket list.
Joppa, but Israel in general.
you'll get the whole thing.
Yeah.
Last question. Let's see if Justin
Last
can catch up.
But definitely not least. In-
No, it is. It's the last,
It's the least.
and it's the least.
It's the least.
Least left. I think. Man, I don't know if that's a proper use of that phrase.
Probably not.
don't
But
know.
we're running with it. That's what we
it.
do. Words.
It's the last.
In
period.
what city were Jesus' followers first called Christians?
Oh.
A stumper.
That's a deep question. I really. I'm just gonna say Rome.
That is
They
incorrect.
titled them out. What do you think? You got any guesses? That's a great question. I have no. I wish there's no scripture references on these.
Yeah, that sounds.
But it's got to be an act somewhere. Where? What?
Don't say it like New Jersey or something. Please don't.
Philippi.
The answer is Antioch.
Antioch. That's definitely mentioned in Acts a lot.
But
Do you want one more just
I would
to...
have
Yeah,
never
I
thought
want one
that
more.
they were first mentioned as
I don't. Yeah,
Christians.
Well, it had to be-
followers,
Antioch is-
believers.
that's the gathering of all the.
Right.
Yeah, I'm at a loss.
yeah,
That was a question that I would not know on any given day, even with the pressure.
Yeah.
Even with the pressure here.
Even the one before that, I don't know where.
Yeah, save the questions. We're done. We're going too far into
I'm
this thing.
embarrassed.
What did you learn?
Dude, I learned that Peter was sleeping in another guy's tent.
All right.
Okay.
You did what you didn't learn. Oh my goodness. So
how can I
Ja-
rephrase
the
that?
tanner,
The
the tanner.
tanner.
You stayed at the tanner's house.
Tanner's
there was
house.
a house.
So there were biblical tanners, not just like, Danny Tanner.
Right, yeah.
So there were
There was a
tanners
Full House.
before Full
It
House.
might have been Full House.
That was the full original
Because when he was
Full
there,
House.
that was the original Full House. Because he's bringing people over.
Yes, that's
listening.
for sure.
And
He had people with him.
He's probably like, dude, again?
Yes, you're the Tanners.
This is
gosh.
terrible. So bad. Mayor Rob, what did you learn today?
I learned how entertaining a fly can be in the sun.
Yes.
Flies can be a
Entertaining
nuisance.
or annoying.
And I learned that Justin labels himself a fly killer, but hit himself in the nose far more than he hit the fly today.
Give me a
And
swatter.
that is episode 9, 9. Oh, I did it again. I was working my way towards
Dude,
it.
I'm
I
loving
wrote
the
it down for the end.
confidence,
10
Yes.
19
Yes,
is episode 19
19
of Making Light of It. I'm Sam.
I'm Justino.
And God bless you if you made it this far.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Making Light of It. Please connect with us on Instagram and Facebook. You can find the links in the description of this episode. We would love to hear from you. Please feel free to email us at makinglightofitpod@gmail.com. And remember to like, share, or subscribe so you'll be notified when the next podcast is uploaded. Thank you, and as always, God bless.
And that's what happens when you go on a fly.